Good morning. Thank y'all for coming to Chipola College today. I'm Brian Craven, Director of Public Relations. On behalf of our president, Dr. Sarah Clemens, we welcome you to this dedication for the Trammell Foundation building. Dr. Clemens is recovering from some surgery that she had, and she wishes she could be here, and she extends her regards to the Trammell family, and she was a friend of Kay's, and she knew how much she did for this college. We are here on the property where the Chipola Foundation exists, and Kay Trammell was very instrumental in getting this beautiful building for the foundation, and so I think it's very appropriate what we're doing here today. So at this time, I would like to recognize the media that are here. We have Chloe. Chloe, what's your last name? Sparks from WMBB. We have Mark Skinner from the Jackson County Floridan, and we have Eric Dove from Chipola College Television. So, and we have Mr. Woody Hatcher from the Jackson County Times here with his wife, and we appreciate all the. Oh, and Mark Skinner from the Jackson County Times. I'm sorry, he was with the Floridan for the first 35 years of his life. All right, but thank you all for coming. We know that you all loved Kay Trammell, and this is a very important day, and thank you for coming. At this time, I'd like to introduce Julie Fuqua, the director of the Chipola Foundation.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for coming. Maybe I just need to hold this. Short people. Okay, is that good? Thank you so much for coming out this morning on behalf of Dr. Clemens. That, like Brian said, she was very sad she couldn't be here today. Kay was important in the life of the college, and Dr. Clemens certainly is missing being here today. But we thank you for coming out. We're proud today to dedicate the Chipola Foundation building in honor of the late Kay Sellers Trammell. Kay attended Chipola. She was a cheerleader, and she met her husband Robert here, and they were married in 1966, and she later graduated from FSU. They moved to Marianna after Robert graduated from law school, and Kay served as the director of the Chipola Foundation from November of 1992 to January of 1994. She helped us grow the endowments and the assets of the Chipola Foundation today, which we're proud to say are over $24 million. We're able to help many, many students. Over the life of the foundation that was established in 1980, there's so many students that from our 5-county district and beyond that have been able to get a college education that wouldn't otherwise. And Kay was a large part of that, and Mert Ringer helped found the foundation. And we've had a real legacy of people that have been dedicated, and Merle Houston was involved with the foundation in early days, and Dr. Jane Roberts. It was Kay's vision to have this building for the Chipola Foundation. This is the former Pilot House, and through appropriation we were able to get the house, but it was her vision to move it over here. We were in a back corner of the campus. It was not a visible place for students or donors to find. And so once we were able to get this house across the street from the administration building, it was much easier for donors to come in, and we have a nice place for foundation offices, nice place to have events and receptions and meet with donors. So it was her vision, and with Robert's help, all of this was possible, and this is where we're still located today, and so it's served everyone well. Robert was elected into the House, and Kay was his chief advisor. She devoted countless hours of helping Robert. She did a lot of volunteer work. She helped write the grant to save the Russ House downtown where the Marianna Jackson County Chamber of Commerce is. And they eventually moved to Tallahassee to be closer to children and grandchildren. She was involved in a lot of volunteer work with the First Presbyterian Church, Habitat for Humanity, and many other nonprofits that were environmental and children related. They also tell me the special thing that she always carried gift cards to restaurants to try to give to homeless people she saw at intersections. She was always trying to care for everyone. And in fact, right at the beginning of her cancer diagnosis, in light of all of that, she was still working to collect donations to try to help people from Hurricane Michael because this area was so affected. And she was still caring and trying to take care of people even when she was sick. Kay loves Chipola. Robert does too. The children, Meredith and Doug, both graduated from Chipola. They're alumni. It was an important part of their life. She hosted many annual events for Chipola. She and Robert helped us do the Chipola Quail Calcutta at their farm and have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Chipola over the years. So it's just been a big part of their life, and we really honor her today and her legacy from everything that they all have done for Chipola, and we're very proud to have this legacy in this building and to have it dedicated to her today and what it represents to all of the students that have gotten a college education from our area that otherwise would not have been possible. So this is going to help students today and in the future understand and know about Kay and the Trammell family and their dedication to Chipola. With that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jane Roberts. She's retired, but she was our Vice President of Student Affairs for many years and a good friend of the Trammell family. Dr. Roberts.
Thank you, Julie. As Julie said, my name is Jane Roberts, and Kay Trammell was my friend. As a matter of fact, I was Kay's best friend. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and I know Kitty Myers is out there, and she'd probably take issue with that. Because that's just how Kay was. She made everybody feel like they were special. But we all know that Kay's best friend was Meredith. When the foundation was first created, it was under the direction of Merle Houston. And that is how I met Kay. I worked for Merle. And Kay would come in all the time and try to find out what she could do to help further the creation of the foundation. Well, she did such a good job that eventually it had to find its own house because Merle had a lot of hats and we needed someone who only had one hat, and that was to run the foundation. And that person was Mert Ringer. Well, it was moved, as Julie said, over upstairs above the physical plant. And when Mert retired, Kay was appointed director. And every day, Kay and I'd go to lunch, and she'd say, I just don't understand. These people do not know where it is. She said, I would walk across campus and remind people, now, have you applied for scholarships? Well, no, where is it? Well, it's in the physical plant. And most students would say, what is that? She said, well, it's the building behind the social science building upstairs. And try as she might, she could not suit herself to thinking that students really knew where it was. So at that time, she began a quest to try to find a suitable location for the foundation. Finding a better location was her dream. And when she found out that the Pilot family was thinking about selling this house, she, along with a lot of others, got busy trying to see what they could do to purchase this building for the Chipola Foundation. And I don't know if many of you know this, but Kay's birthday is in November. It's November the 22nd. See, us best friends know that. And November is also a month to be thankful. And I am thankful to God that He put me in Kay Trammell's path. And I just want to say that dedicating this building today to Kay Trammell is a wonderful tribute to a special lady who loved Chipola College and especially loved the Chipola Foundation.
Thank you, Jane, and those of you that preceded Julie and Brian. This is a fairly difficult act for me. On behalf of our family, my daughter Meredith and my son Doug, Meredith's husband is here, Daniel, over here, and the children, the grandchildren, Mirabella and Ava Kay and Jack Douglas, and our extended family, well, not before the extended family, on behalf of Kay's sister Carol and her husband Eddie and our extended family. Thank you all so much. And it was so great that the Chipola Board of Trustees, and under the leadership of Dr. Sarah Clemens saw fit, I think, to honor Kay in this very special way. We appreciate it more than you could ever know. Kay and I met across the street at the Student Center in 1964. It's hard to believe it's been that long ago. So many of us met our spouses to be here at Chipola. I look at Lily Spates over there. There are a ton more, Bill Mumford and Gene Pro, and on and on and on. But that was the case back then. Chipola's entering its, very soon, its three-quarter century history. And I think the theme is making lives greater and creating futures. And it was doing it a long time ago. For those of you that understand the path that we followed here, in our particular family, I went here, and Kay was an alumna of Chipola, and my two children, Meredith and Doug, went here. My brother Part went here. Kay's sister went here, and their children, Barry and Camille, went here. Carol went here, and her husband Eddie went here, and it goes on and on and on. So if you ever wonder about Chipola, you know, people from Tallahassee, they said, y'all are inbred. I said, yes, somewhat. That's a true story. But from the time that Kay arrived on this campus in 1963 through the time of her death, she loved Chipola. The people before me said that, and it's absolutely true. During the 20 years that we lived here in Marianna, 20 and a little more, she was so involved in student activities and alumni affairs. As they stated earlier, for a couple of years, she was worked at the foundation, and I can't tell you how often she complained about the limited space. I think it was a glorified closet down there that she was working in, and I remember very, very often saying, this thing will never be anything until we get some space. And she looked on campus, I think, with then President Dr. Kanzer, and there was nothing there, and she had a personal relationship with the Pilot family that owned this house, and the rest is history, and I got some peace after that. And during all those years when she'd ride by here, Kay was not too much on self-aggrandizement. I might have been, but she was not. But she would smile when she came by here. So I think that sort of represented the pride that she had in that we had been able to move up. Let's see here now. As you all know, Kay was a people person, and she recognized that from a foundation standpoint, Chipola's greatest asset was the relationships that had been developed here, the way the alumni felt about this institution, the loyalty. And so she was anxious for the foundation to become functional, to become effective, and certainly it has done that. And we've spoken, so much of what I was going to say has been said, so I'm just picking out the high spot. She absolutely loved the school and the relationship. She recognized that they were very, very special, and created a resource for this college to create a margin of excellence. Around the nation in the last 20 years, schools that have done exceptionally well have been, because of the tightness of public funding, have gone to its alumni to ask for help. And we've done that here. We're going to do it a lot more in the future, I can assure you. Dr. Clemens has announced a very proactive approach at reaching out to our alumni, thousands and thousands that have done very well, and used Chipola to help get started in their successful careers. But so many of you, I look out here and I haven't spoken to all of you, but I want to. Before you leave, please let me say hello and thank you all for being here. Meredith and them, I think I announced they're participating by telephone. What is it, Brian? Not Facebook, FaceTime. So Meredith, we're glad, all of you, that you're here. We'd rather you be there and not give us strep. I talked to Craven about putting a special section for him. He said, just let him stay in Tallahassee. And, I agreed with that. But at any rate, I don't think you all could, or the college proper, Sarah, the Board of Trustees, you couldn't do more. And we appreciate your helping honor our precious Kay. Thank you. And if you will, I know you're standing at a distance. We'd appreciate all of you coming by and looking at it. This is done by Leon Lord in Montgomery, Alabama. Brandy Brewer always told me that he was the best, and I think probably he looks to me like he had a pretty good subject to work with. I thought that in 64 over there in the Student Center. But thank you all so much for being here. From the Trammell family, the Sellers family, we appreciate you and we love you.